Background acting breakdown. How to be in the background of TV and films. So, if you are not interested in background acting breakdown as a side job or hobby interest, of course, you can skip this. But let's get into it. It is called background or extra work. They are actors hired to appear in the background of a TV, film, commercials, and even music videos. Background typically does not speak and is often blurred out, but many times you can see the background, and even sometimes they get a little line or some interaction with some of the main characters in the show or commercial. You find background work using free and paid resources. Central Casting is a free resource that will help you get hired. Backstage, Actors Access, Casting Frontier, and Casting Networks are all casting websites that have both acting and background work on them. You do have to pay a monthly or yearly fee to be on all of these. And Extras Management is a company that helps you to make sure that you are working as many days a week as possible on background jobs. You do pay them a fee. You pay them a fee to sign up and a fee per job. I wouldn't suggest doing that unless you are looking to make background acting your full-time gig. As for Central Casting, that is free access to background jobs. You show up in person to your local office and sign up. They will take a photo of you and you will fill out some tax forms. Then you get booked by either self-submitting or they will email you or text you an avail request. If you are self-submitting, you're going to go on their website Monday to Friday. They are posting jobs and breakdowns. You are going to see a breakdown that then has an email at the bottom of it. You will email the casting director with your name, email, and anything requested in the breakdown. Sometimes they want a selfie. Sometimes they want to see you in a certain type of outfit. You do not want to contact these employees outside of the submission emails. You want to call if you need assistance. Then, if you do get booked, you will be given a password and go onto this website you can see in the background, and you will be able to see all of the details for your upcoming booking. You want to read all of those details twice. Everything is different every single day, every single time. Even if you think you are going the second day for the same job, you want to double check that they haven't changed anything. Things are constantly changing in the world of acting and commercials and on-camera talent. There's weather that's involved, there's props that's involved, there's actors that are involved. So sometimes they may have canceled things or moved things around, watch you in a different outfit. Also, details like parking, hair, makeup, and set rules are included there. To prepare, you want to check the travel times and set alarms. You are going to a new random place every single time, and you are going to want to make sure you get there early. If you are having a call time that is traffic time, you want to plan for that. 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 5 p.m., those are all very heavy traffic times in Los Angeles. Wherever you are, you should know the traffic and plan ahead for it. You want to try on and steam your wardrobe. Make sure that it fits. You don't want to bring stuff and then they ask you to put it on, and when you're there, it turns out it doesn't fit or you can't get it on or it's got a big hole in it. So try things on, make sure they look good, and steam them. Don't do like this person here and then drag them on the floor after you've done all that hard work. It's not going to be helpful. And then you want to pack a set bag. That's everything that you need to survive on set, just like a model bag. When it comes to that wardrobe and what you are picking out, go with no logos. Solid muted colors are best. You can also have colors like these where they are a little bit vibrant, but avoid neon colors unless specifically asked for. You want well-fitted clothing. Leave your designer garments at home. They could get hurt. Now, you're not necessarily going to get your clothes ripped or dirty at jobs, but if they did, you'd be really sad about it and nobody is going to reimburse you. So I do suggest leaving those designer garments at home if you truly care about them. If you've got a whole closet full of them, do whatever makes your heart happy. Avoid busy patterns and noisy embellishments. When you are on set, you are going to be walking in the background while people are potentially acting and saying lines. If you have noisy embellishments, maybe necklaces, maybe stuff on your clothing, maybe even your shoes have some type of bead on them or jewels or bells, they are going to ask you not to wear those things. They're going to ask you to take them off. So then it's just a waste because you've carried all this stuff for no reason. You want to follow instructions and bring options. I would say 3 options is more than plenty. If they're asking for more than that, just say you didn't have any more. You want to bring those options on hangers. After they look at them, which is typically within minutes of you arriving to set, you can then put the ones you are not using either back in your car or into your luggage, or bring like some type of tote bag. So you're only having to hold them for those few first minutes that you get to set. And add all your accessories in a rolling luggage if you have a bunch of them. Sometimes I take a backpack, but a lot of times I would take a rolling luggage, especially if I knew the studio and I knew that there was asphalt to roll my luggage on, where sometimes you are going to a location that may be dirt. It was easier when I'm bringing shoes and purses and jewelry to not carry it on my back. I don't really like carrying a backpack. If you prefer to carry a backpack, of course, do whatever works for you. Other things that you should consider bringing: a folding chair or pad. Hours of sitting can be 10 times worse in plastic chairs. Bring your own if you can carry it. There are people whose entire career is being a background actor. They enjoy it that much. And those professionals always bring a chair, and they're always the happiest and most comfortable people. So if you can, if you have the budget and you can carry it, go ahead and bring a chair. Layers can be very helpful. The stages can be very cold and you could be shooting into the night. You could be outside in between takes. You could also just be wearing a very light clothing that doesn't really protect you from the elements. So you're cold even in what seems like normal weather. Parkas work best because they are easy to clean. And again, you have no idea where you're going on these sets. You don't know if they're super clean or if holding is super clean. Hopefully it is. But for when it's not, a parka is super easy to clean after set. Also, comfort shoes. If the shoes you will be wearing on camera will hurt, bring comfort shoes to wear during downtime. Uggs, sneakers, moccasins, they all work. Your set bag, it looks just like a model bag. The most important thing for you to bring, I have mentioned this many times in modeling, but it is heavily important here, is a picture ID license or passport. Almost every single studio has some type of security. They don't all, but a lot of them do. And you are going to need to get that to be able to get on set, or they will not let you in, and you will end up having wasted all your time and lose that job and not get paid, or have to go all the way home and try and rush back. So you want to make sure you have that picture ID license or passport. Everything else on this is for your happiness and your comfort. The more you bring, the more happy you may be. If you have to carry it all and it makes you miserable, then of course don't bring it all. But you could be on set for a while, so I do suggest bringing a set bag. And there is a lot of time that you are going to have downtime. We'll get into that in a few more slides. What to expect when you are on set. So on the very left, you see they've even made me a prop with my name and picture on it. That's the picture that I took at Central Casting when I registered. And sometimes they make you cool little props. You do not get to keep these props. You must give them back. Don't do that. You'll get caught and you'll get banned. The next one you see, I am in a flight attendant outfit. I was a featured extra. I didn't get paid anymore, but I did get this outfit, and sometimes you get your own trailer, and sometimes you're the only one on set, whereas they're not hiring a bunch of backgrounds, so there's only a handful of you. And in the one where you don't see any part of me, I am leaning on a table, kind of taking a nap. It was like 2 a.m. We had been shooting for weeks and I was tired, and someone took this funny picture and I just wanted to share. Sometimes it is going to be long days. It's going to be exhausting. It's going to be cold. That was before I bought a heated jacket. In the right, on the very end, in the red dress, you see I'm in a trailer. I was a featured extra. I was in some pageant scene, so I wore my own pageant dress because they were like, well, we already love yours. We don't have to fit you. And I got more money for bringing my own pageant gown because it is a special bump that you get as a union member. And I got to have my own trailer for the whole day. So that was really nice. And they did my hair and makeup. Now, when it comes with background, a lot of times you are doing your own hair and makeup and they may give you a little bit of a touch up. But when you are a featured extra, they almost always do your hair and makeup for you. When it comes to social media and all those fun pictures I just took, Typically, no photos are allowed to be taken or posting, and doing so can be cause for letting you go, not only from that specific booking, but from central casting altogether. You want to ask before you take those photos just to make sure that it is okay, and so they can let you know what certain things to avoid. Sometimes there's really sensitive scenes and lines that they don't want getting out, so they really don't want you taking photos or leaking anything. You want to avoid photos that include the set. Where you see on the left, I'm making the peace sign and the selfie in the mirror. That's a perfectly fine photo. No one knows what I'm doing. No one knows where I am. I look like a model in all black clothing. You wouldn't even know I'm on a TV set. Whereas on the right, you see it is a fake airplane. It's a real airplane, but they've like gutted it and we use it for filming. You wouldn't want to post that because they haven't necessarily announced that we're going to be on an airplane in that episode and you're giving away plot lines. So if you do post, you want to wait to post until after the air date. If you post before the air date, they do sometimes have people they are paying to watch social media, watch hashtags, and find those photos, and they may or may not choose to sue you or take action against you for leaking that information and taking those photos without permission. So please be very careful about that. When you are on set, you should expect the hurry up and wait that you are already familiar with. But every set is different. Every day is different. Every studio has their own rules, their own security, their own parking. Lunch is typically 6 hours after the call time, and crew always eats first because they are expected to go back to work real quick like. So you're going to let that crew cut you in line even if you are already in line. You could work less than hours. You could also be on set 10 hours and be on camera 0 minutes. You're just sitting around chilling the whole time. You could be on set 14 hours and work most of it on camera the whole time and have an exhausting day. Those are rare, but they do happen, especially with party scenes or club scenes. You want to plan for 12 hours. Yes, I said 12 hours. And when I say plan, I mean things like your child care, your pet care, how many snacks you're bringing, your boyfriend and girlfriend plans, your friend plans, all of these things. You need to plan that you may be on set for 12 hours. If you get off early, cool. You get to go hang out. You get to go run errands. Maybe you get to go take a nap. But a lot of times you may be on set for 12 hours, even 13 hours. That's a pretty average day lately in the industry. So do plan for that. And of course, there is overtime. How to handle your mind while being a background actor. The typically easiest way to keep your attitude in check is thinking about the money that you're making. You are making more money than most people. If you are non-union, you start at minimum wage. But once you get to overtime, you are making more money than that. But it's also typically a very easy job. It's like getting paid to have free time. Instead of thinking of it as being trapped on set or bored, think of it as paid free time. You are literally being paid to scroll Instagram or self-submit or eat free food at Crafty, or network with other actors and learn stuff about classes and headshot photographers. I've learned all kinds of cool stuff on set talking to people. I even learned about random things like science. You want to bring options for you to do in case you don't want to chat with everybody or it is a quiet set. Sometimes there are sets where you are near the action, so you are asked to be quiet because they are filming. Those options could be things like books. I brought yarn and crocheted a whole scarf once. It's very quiet and calming. You could bring a tablet. You could bring a laptop if you're comfortable bringing these expensive devices. Please know you do not know anybody on set. You don't necessarily trust them. We don't know who's got sticky fingers. It happens very little, but it does happen every once in a while. So be careful if you are bringing those valuable items. Also, gaming devices like those little Switches and Game Boys. And notebooks to write things down. Maybe you've got to write down some sides for an audition or something coming up, or some to-do list, or you just want to doodle. Just something that makes you happy that you would do in your free time. You could also do a lot of things on your phone. You could clear out emails. You could clear out spam emails. You could make sure that your agents all are starred in your phone and you're getting all of their emails and messages. You could clean up your social media. You could delete old photos. Like, there is so much that you could do on this paid free time, or you could just sit there and do nothing. It's up to you. During that downtime, some other things you could do are visit Crafty. Again, crew eats first. Sometimes there are hot snacks at Crafty. Crafty is not the same thing as lunch. Lunch is typically a different crew than Crafty. It's not even always the same people. Crafty is the snack table or snack truck that is provided. They have hot snacks 3 hours after you get there and 9 hours after you get there, because lunch is at the 6 hours. And those hot snacks do go to the crew first. There's almost always enough for everyone. Let the crew go first. That is the rule. You want those quiet activities we already discussed. If you are going to use the restroom, communicate with a PA or your background holding person and tell them you are going 10-1 or 10-2. 10-1 is a short bathroom break. 10-2 is a long bathroom break. And then if you would like to, you can get to know people. You may not like getting to know people, so you don't have to. Some things to avoid are getting dirty. You are going to be on camera. Don't get dirty. They will fire you. You want to avoid massive wrinkles. Now, you are sitting sometimes for hours before getting on camera. A few wrinkles are okay. You are in the background. You don't have to look picture perfect, but try not to look like you just rolled out of bed. They will get annoyed with that. You want to avoid lingering on set to talk to the crew. They are working. Even if you have been dismissed from the set to go back to your holding, the crew is still working. Do not sit there and distract them. You can have conversations with them, but find those appropriate times. And you also want to avoid loud phone calls, speakerphone, or playing your music loudly. You were not hired to be a DJ. We don't all like your music. Please don't do that. Bring some headphones. When it comes to being on set and you are acting on set, you are acting even though you are in the background, you want to keep chit-chat to a minimum. Listen for directions and don't distract or interrupt the crew. Even if you don't think they're working, they are working. And your cue is background. Someone in the crew will say background and then you start acting. It may come before action. It may come after action. Make sure you listen for the word background. Very rarely is your cue going to be action. That is typically for the main actors. Make sure you are paying attention to your PA. They will let you know. And pantomiming. You need to know how to pantomime. That is no noise, just like a mime. No talking, no closing doors, no moving furniture. If you got to sit down in a chair, you're going to lift that chair up a little bit, pull it out, and carefully place it back down. If you are closing doors, you're going to lightly close it and not slam it. You may not even be closing it all the way. If you're in a high school or a college and there's a locker, you are not going to slam that locker shut. Do not do that. They will get annoyed with that because they will have to redo the scene, all because a background actor could not pantomime. You want to pantomime. Unless they tell you to be speaking, that rarely happens. The majority of the time you are pantomiming because they need to hear the actor's lines. When you are on set, some other terminology that you should know are pickup. When they start shooting in the middle of a scene from the last shot. So you've been shooting a scene, they decided they got the first part, but they missed that last line, or they want another version of the last line that the actor said. So they're going to do a pickup and scoot up to that part. So you should figure out where you are at that time in the background, because you are not going to go back to one. When you go back to one, that is when you shoot again from the beginning of that scene. So you're going to have many ones during the day. Every time you have a different scene, you will have a new one. One is your starting mark. Cut. Do not stop acting until you hear cut. Even if you think the scene is over, keep on acting until you hear the word cut. This can be very problematic. Some background actors think the scene is over and then they start talking with the other background actors about how they thought something was funny or cute or whatever conversation they were having. And then the directors get mad at you because you have interrupted them and cost them thousands of dollars because now they have to reshoot it. And every minute on set typically costs thousands of dollars. This is why we pay attention. Back to holding. That means it's time to leave the set quietly and quickly and go back to wherever they have the background holding. That is where you are sitting for the day. That is typically got some chairs in it. Maybe it has a little bit of crafty in it. That is your holding. On the day, that means when the cameras are rolling, typically your PA will come into the holding area and give you a description about what's going to happen on the day. So they're telling you when you get in front of the cameras, I'm going to have you, you're going to be holding a plate and you're going to be walking across to the waitress asking for another cookie or whatever it is that your action is. They say on the day, as in when the cameras are rolling. Some more things to remember about background etiquette. You are at work. It's easy to forget you're at work. Watch your conversations, your phone activity, and clean up after yourself. Just because there are janitors and custodians do not mean they are your personal maid. Clean up after yourself. It's rude as fuck when you don't. Don't treat janitors and custodians as below you. Nobody is below you. Clean up after yourself. Do not ask for autographs. The actors are at work, and so are you. Do not ask for autographs or speak to them unless spoken to. Now, this is not about acting like you are below them. This is about the fact that they are at work, and sometimes, even if an actor doesn't look like they're moving their lips, they don't have headphones in, they're not talking, they may be running lines in their head. They may be getting into an emotional place in their head. Maybe they have to be angry. Maybe they have to cry in the scene. You don't know what they're doing. So unless they are talking to you and they seem like they're trying to have conversations, don't go up to them. That's what I mean when don't speak unless spoken to. Allow them to show you the vibes. If they are having a fun conversation and they're relaxed, or if they are busy doing work, let them do their work. Even if it doesn't look like they're working, their face looks normal, they're just sitting there, they're just standing there, they could be working in their head. Please do not bother them. They are about to perform. If you are easy to work with, you are easy to book. Punctuality, positivity, and preparedness will take you very far in this industry. The PAs will notice it. They will mention it back to central casting. Sometimes there are people who work at central casting who are on set, and they will be taking note of what you're doing. They do not tell you that they also work at central casting. So just make sure that you are trying to do a good job. When you get wrapped, how do you check out? So getting wrapped means you are done for the day. They no longer need you for today. You want to clean up your area and return any props. You want to return your wardrobe. If you are wearing your own wardrobe, of course, this does not count. But if the crew has given you wardrobe, you're going to go back and give them back that wardrobe, change back into your normal clothing, and then they will give you back your voucher. So you got your voucher in the morning from a PA, and you gave it to the wardrobe people in exchange for those clothes. They will give it back to you in exchange for their clothes. That's how they keep you from running off with their clothes. And then you're going to go into another line and check out. You're going to fill out that voucher. It's going to say the time you arrived, the time you are leaving, how many bumps you got, and you will give that to the PA. They will sign off on it. Do not attack or yell at the crew for delays or changes in schedule. You may have overbooked yourself and have other errands to run or other castings you want to get to. I have watched actors then try and blame their overbooking of themselves onto the PAs. Also, the PAs have no control. The production is the one who made everything change. Everything is constantly up in the air in the acting world. If you do not like that, this is not the job for you. Rates. How much money are you gonna get? So if you are non-union, you are starting at that minimum wage per hour. You will probably get $100 to $200 per 10 to 12 hour day, depending on your state's minimum wage. It is illegal to employ non-union actors over 16 hours. They should not be doing that to you. At that point, you can complain. As a union member, typically, although these rates may change based on specific categories, you would get $182 for the first 8 hours of the day. Then for hours 9 and 10, you get time and a half. So you take your hourly rate and you times it by 1.5. Hour 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, you would get double your hourly rate. And at hour 16, you would be getting golden hour, which is your day rate of $182 in this example, every hour. But you are not, if you get off at the 16th hour and you've only been working 9 minutes into that 16th hour, you are only going to get 9 minutes of that, 6 minutes of that pay. It's in 6-minute units. So they go 6, 12, 18, 24. So they mark you out at the nearest 6 minute. And when they mark you out, they typically are adding a little bit of time to allow you to get back to your car. So although the PA may be signing you out at 10 o'clock at night, they will write maybe 10:15 or 10:20 to allow you the time to get back to your car. Some other rates are $188 for special ability extras. That means you can do something. As you can see, it's a very little bump. $214 is for stand-ins, and $388.40 is for commercial background actors. That is the first 8 hours of your rate. Union bumps. If you are union, you get bumps for everything that happens on set. If you go to a fitting or an interview prior to the job, you get paid for that. Personal props, like when I brought my own pageant gown, or if I was to bring a crown. Late lunch break, you get money for that. If you have to bring your pet to set, you get money for that. If you have to work in wet or smoke situations, like being in a pool sometimes not, they're sketchy with that one. If there's fake rain on you, if there's dry ice, you get a bump. If you're driving or using your car, I believe it's $32 at this moment. It may have raised a few dollars. Also, body makeup, hair pieces, and prosthetics. These all will get you bumps. This is not the full list, but all kinds of different things on set will get you different bumps. They are all different prices. Let me know if you want me to make a whole list. When will you get that money? Typically, your paycheck will come by mail 2 weeks after your workday. You will receive a check for each day you work. So if you work 5 days on the same set, you are going to get 5 checks. You want to keep your vouchers and check when you get those checks. They have a stub on them that details everything that was written into that paycheck. And receive that check that you received all your bumps and your overtime, that is on your voucher. And direct deposits can be arranged if you prefer. Outside of Central Casting, you do have those casting websites that have acting and background submissions and breakdowns. Actors Access, Backstage, Casting Frontier, Casting Networks, and there are some discounts. If you are a SAG-AFTRA member, you can get discounts on some of these websites, and there are personal coupon codes. I have a code for Backstage that I will put into the links. Anybody who has a Backstage account can give you a link to their to get $75 off the first year of Backstage. And all of these sites are going to be different based on the city that you're in and how much work they have and whether or not it's worth it to you to pay these fees. So make sure you look into them, ask your fellow actors, and some of these allow you to view those breakdowns for free before you decide to pay. So go ahead and look into that and make the decision for yourself based on you, your goals, your budget, and all of that. That's everything you need to know to get started in background acting. Please let me know if you want me to go further in detail about anything, or if you have any questions, comment them below. As always, I would love to know if this is helping you, if it's made you some money, if it's made you more confident. Share those wins with me in email or publicly on social media using the hashtag Modelesque Mindset so I can find it. And as always, if you want to book a one-on-one, the link is provided.